The power went out. The apartment flooded with darkness, and that sound the hiss of static but from nowhere. No TV. No source. Then light. The TV flickered back on, showing her sleeping in bed. A live feed. Except she was standing right in front of it. Behind the sleeping image, the static man crept in, long arms stretching, joints cracking. He climbed into the bed beside her and looked directly into the camera. Then the screen went black. Mira blinked. She was suddenly lying in bed, heart racing. Had she imagined it? Then she saw the camera blinking from inside her closet. Recording. Still live. And the whisper returned. I like watching you dream.
Horror World, Episode 4, The Breathing Room. Daniel rented a cheap room in a crumbling motel on the outskirts of town. Just for one night, the owner gave him a key to room 206 with a warning. Don't leave the lights off, not even for a second. He laughed. Weird old guy, he thought. The room stank of mold and something worse like old meat. But Daniel was tired. He ignored it, showered, and climbed into bed. Around 2:00 a.m., the power cut out. The silence was thick. Then, he heard it. Breathing. Not his own. It came from the walls, the floor, the ceiling. Labored, wet gasps, like something huge and dying. He grabbed his phone for light, but it wouldn't turn on. The breathing grew louder, closer. Every inhale shook the room. Then a whisper, inches from his ear. Do you know what this place is made of? The floor split open beneath him. He fell into darkness lined with ribs and pulsing flesh. He wasn't in a motel, he was inside something alive. He tried to climb out, but the walls breathed, squeezing tighter. Bones cracked. A fleshy tongue licked his ankle. Then the voice came again. You're part of the room now. He screamed until the walls silenced him. When the lights returned, room 206 looked normal again, empty and clean, except for a dark stain spreading across the carpet. The owner smiled as he changed the vacancy sign. One more guest, fed. Horror World, Episode 3, Whispers in the Jar. Elena collected antique jars, strange old glass vessels from dusty estate sales. One day, she found a peculiar one. Black glass, sealed with wax and etched with symbols that hurt her eyes to look at. A note was tied around its neck. Never open, never speak to the whispers. Naturally, she opened it. Nothing came out. No smoke, no flash, just silence. That night, she heard faint murmurs in the walls. Soft, hushed voices giggling, then crying, then whispering her name. She tried to sleep, but the whispers grew louder. We're free now. We're still so hungry. In the morning, all her other jars were shattered. Glass littered every surface. Her reflection in the window blinked, though she hadn't. Elena taped the black jar shut and buried it in the yard. The whispers didn't stop. They multiplied. She started hearing voices behind her wherever she went. In the store, in the shower, inside her own head. They told her things, dark things, truths about her dead mother, her ex, her own desires. One voice finally said, "You belong with us." The next morning, neighbors found Elena's home in ruins. Blood on the walls. Her body was never found, just the black jar sitting in the center of her living room. Now, when someone enters that house, they hear it too, murmurs from every corner. They find the jar, and sometimes they open it again. Horror World, Episode 2, The Reflection Room. Max was a skeptic. Ghosts? Superstition? Demons? Fairy tales? So when his girlfriend dared him to spend the night in the abandoned St. Callista Asylum, he agreed, laughing. He set up cameras, a flask, and one rule: no leaving the reflection room. The room had no furniture, just a cracked full-length mirror bolted to the wall. No one knew why it was called that until it was too late. Max stared at the mirror. His reflection smiled. He didn't. He chuckled nervously and waved. The reflection didn't wave back. Instead, it walked toward the glass. Max backed away, chills racing up his spine. His reflection stopped an inch from the mirror, tilted its head, and mouthed, "You shouldn't be here." Then the lights flickered and the reflection moved on its own. It pressed its hand to the glass and stepped through. Max ran, but the door was gone. The reflection grinned with too many teeth. "You laughed," it whispered. "You mocked." It opened its mouth wider, impossibly wide, until it split its own skull in half. Then it began pulling Max into itself, bone cracking, soul stretching, skin folding. Max screamed, clawing at nothing as his body was sucked into the mirror. Silence. The mirror now held a new reflection. Max stood inside, mouth sewn shut, eyes wide and wet with horror. The next morning, the door reappeared. The camera footage? Corrupted, just static. The asylum remains abandoned. But some nights, people say the reflection room flickers with light. If you look in the mirror, someone always looks back. But it's not you, and it wants out. Horror World, Episode 1, The Hungry Ones. Tara moved into the old farmhouse alone, chasing solitude after a brutal divorce. Locals warned her about the place. "It's cursed," they whispered, but she ignored them. The house was cheap, remote, and quiet. Perfect. On the third night, Tara heard soft dragging sounds from the attic. She climbed the creaking steps with a flashlight and a knife. Nothing, just dust and spider webs. But etched into the floorboards were dozens of names, scratched in with fingernails. Her own was there too, Tara. Terrified, she locked the attic and tried to forget. But each night, the dragging came back closer. Then whispers started, mournful voices crying out, "We're so hungry." She set up cameras. At 3:33 a.m., the feed glitched, then showed shadows crawling out from under the attic floor. Emaciated figures with stretched mouths, eyeless sockets, and fingers like cracked twigs. They hovered over her sleeping body. Tara fled, but the shadows followed. Every mirror, window, and puddle she saw them watching. Then one night, she woke to find her hands restrained, tied with her own hair. They were here. A whisper tickled her ear. "Thank you for staying long enough." They tore into her with smiles that didn't reach their hollow eyes. As her blood soaked into the floorboards, her name glowed etched fresh and deep. The next day, the house listing went back online. Price reduced.